So dopamine is the currency of motivation. It is a lot of people think it's like at the end of the goal, it's like the reward system, and there's some elements to that, but it's really tied to our motivation or getting us up and moving. So what happens with pornography though is first second exposure gives you this massive hit. So what happens is you get a spike in dopamine because dopamine works on a pain pleasure cycle. So anytime you experience great pleasure, it's going to be followed by pain. And the adverse would work as well. Anytime you experience great pain, if you stick with it long enough, you will experience some type of pleasure. Great example here is like you go into the gym to work out. It's very painful, right? If you're doing it the right way, you're breaking down muscle tissue. You're obviously extending your cardiovascular output and expenditure. But if you can stick with that pain long enough, the dopamine will come on the endorphin side of things, the greater reward that you'll get. But when you watch pornography, you get a massive hit on the pleasure side. So we know that we're going to spike the pleasure. Eventually somewhere it's going to drop down below baseline on the pain side of things. Now what ends up happening when we're down here, okay, we're not going to return back to baseline just right out of the gate. So we're going to suffer some type of depression, lack of motivation. This is where a lot of guys like struggle to even get moving, and like you don't find any sense of joy out of life. So but we can't sit in that long enough, but our brain knows, okay, well, if we want to feel good, let's go look at more pornography. So you create this cycle where the only thing that's going to motivate you, or the only thing that's going to bring you any type of joy or pleasure, would be actually the seeking of more pornography, not even the release, because once again it's tied to motivation. So the seeking component is really where it gets hijacked, because once you're done, you then feel depressed about, what did I just do? Now you're guilty and shame. So it's that constant having to seek. Anybody that's known or has struggled with a cocaine addiction knows this feeling, right? You get that first hit, and then it becomes a chase for the remainder of the night to go get that first hit ever again. It will never be duplicated.